welcome back. We are The Rest of Us, the weekly podcast talking about every single episode of The Last of Us. And we just got episode 7, which basically tells the story of Left Behind, where part of it. Anyway, we didn't even start. I'm already salty.
Right off the bat.
Right off the bat. Let me introduce our fantastic little cast. We have the wonderful Erika.
Hi.
The fantastic Nick.
Hi, guys.
And me, salty Lily K.
We got like salt, sweet, and tangy.
Works. It works.
I can deal with that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we can roll with that.
Yeah, so just our disclaimer as per usual, we are recording this podcast directly after watching the episode, so it is still fresh in the world, fresh in our minds. So any theories and talking points and things like that that develop throughout the week, we would love to chat to you guys about it on our social medias and on the live chat down below if you're watching this on YouTube during the premiere. Otherwise, hit us up. Let's talk about it.
Let's get right into it. Let's do this episode breakdown. What did we think altogether? Just very briefly, no spoilers for now. Just tell me, like,
I liked it.
I don't know. I'm very much in two minds about this episode. Thought it was a good episode of TV, but I'm not crazy about some of the things they did.
okay, fair. I think I'm with you. We get a little bit of extra again, which I liked. You know, we get a little look into the cozy life through Ellie's eyes, which I found interesting. I don't know what you both thought about it.
I'm gonna start with every sentence. I liked it.
You're the sweet after all, so you know.
I did. I enjoyed this new perspective because, you know, we're seeing everything from Joel's perspective. Joel is the main character, and now we're really seeing Ellie's life through her little eyes. And it made everything just a lot more personable, maybe, to be able to see things from her level and understand a bit more of her bitchiness, sassiness, and just downright anger sometimes.
The whole beginning part was something that we didn't see previously in the games. That was gym class, I guess, what we started with and what was in the trailers. And then the whole talk with Wong. I was like, okay. Immediately.
It can be a hard name to say. It's okay.
It is. I you know, me and names, it's not easy. But I don't know if it was necessary. I think it was necessary for the episode, I guess, because the whole thing is about, you know, Ellie's talking about staying with Fedra and why it's good, and then Riley is obviously the opposite end of being like, oh, but the Fireflies.
I mean, it helped for later conversation when Ellie was like, you're joining terrorists. It showed how terrible Fedra can be in regards to like a propaganda or, you know, trying to make themselves look better than they actually are. So it gave a little bit of depth to the conversation, which I guess maybe isn't the most necessary of things, but it worked.
I liked it for sort of establishing where Ellie was, because with something we didn't see in the game, you know, Ellie kind of spoke about being in this Fedra school, but we never really got to see it. We never got to see any classrooms or any flashbacks to that. So it was nice to actually see that side of things and to see it sort of set up as like, oh, it's just gym class and there's, you know, there's other kids that can be mean and bullies and whatever. It gave Ellie's, I guess, her backstory kind of a little bit more depth, I felt. And then you have this Huang character who's like, you know, you gotta play by the rules if you want to stay here, otherwise, you know, you're kind of screwed. And I liked it because it kind of gave her an option without giving her an option. And then when she meets Riley, she starts saying, oh yeah, you guys are terrorists, because there's kind of propaganda on both sides. So I like that it was kind of set up a little bit better going into that conversation, because playing the game, you are just everything is designed to make you hate Fedra. And it's like they are the enemies. You know, the Fireflies are ambiguous, but Fedra's the enemy. So it was nice to sort of see them a little bit more peaceful in some ways, I guess.
Yeah.
It was cool just to see that setup. I really liked it.
Yeah. And if anybody's interested in learning more about Ellie's time at Fedra, there are the comic books as well. I haven't read them myself. I just know that they exist.
I think once Riley arrives, I can't talk today. Once Riley arrives, there it is.
There you go.
Thank you.
10 out of 10.
Thank you. Yes. I think that bedroom scene is basically the same.
Nothing too special or different about it that I could tell, but I'll just pop in with a couple of Easter eggs that are they're kind of more obvious ones that I think everybody will notice. But just in case, we get the Mortal Kombat poster, which is throughout the whole thing. Ellie talks about it later with Joel when they're in that cool little stash house. We see a ton of space and spaceship art. She also has a lot of dinosaur art, which comes in later to her just like, is it a dinosaur? We'll get a lot more fun with that, hopefully, in season 2. So that's a fun thing to keep an eye out. There's a paleontology book kind of linking more to her dinosaur love. There's also a giraffe in her collage of art.
Also, what I found weird is that she's reading the comic that's she supposedly first found in Bill's house,
which is also issue 8. And in the previous episode, she says she has like 1, 4, and 6. She doesn't mention that she has issue 8.
Continuity errors again.
Yes. Also, she shouldn't be reading it because she finds it later on with us, like, you know, in the main game. I think finding the dead guy.
Yeah.
I think that's new
that
as
was
well.
pretty
It
crazy.
wasn't in the game, isn't it?
No, not at all.
I had a thought about that actually.
Okay.
So the pills look exactly the same as the one that Joel gives the Fedra agent. So it's probably some sort of like oxy or some sort of drugs, which I was like, oh, so it's like like smuggling drug circle, just like reaching far. It's probably just like white pills, but I was like, they kind of look like the same ones that Joel was dealing.
It could be. I didn't think about that. That's quite cool, actually.
Yeah. Also hilarious. Like, it just like falls through the floor.
I thought for a second that he was actually like popping back to life and he was like an infected and he was going to bite them and they were going to get infected like right away. I was like, no, you don't do it like this. And then he fell through the floor. I was like, okay, that's weird and random.
And then we have a little bit of jumping around on the roofs and we get to the mall.
Yes. I just wanted to say about the rooftops. It's the first time I noticed it in the episode. Was something that I really did not like. Was so in the DLC, there's a lot of sort of Riley telling Ellie, come on, follow me. Like, I've got something cool to show you. Just keep coming. Just keep coming. The rooftops, they did it like 3 times where like they're going, and then they stop. And then they like talk for a little bit. And then Riley's like, okay, come, let's go. And then like 2 minutes later, they stop again. And then I was like, on the rooftops, I'm like, can you guys just get to the mall? Jeez, stop stopping all the time. And then they get to the mall and the same thing happens. It's like, they just stop. And then it's like, oh, I've got another wonder to show you. And then they just stop. And it's like, I don't know how you guys might have felt about it, but I just, for me, it felt like it killed the pacing of the episode. And it just made, for me, at the beginning on the rooftops, kind of where it started, and it got a little bit better, but it made Riley so annoying. I was like, oh my word, lady, just get on with it. I really, it really irked me so much.
I have a feeling Lily's about to agree.
Yes.
Just because it was so stop start, and it was like, oh, just get on with the damn episode.
So before you agree, I didn't even think about that. That didn't even cross my mind, even though something felt pacing weird.
I will tell you what's wrong with this episode. I will be so salty because if you played the Left Behind DLC, if you're a gamer, you know that the Left Behind isn't just Ellie and Riley running around in a mall. It's more than that. Ellie needs fucking medicine for Joel, so we are constantly cutting back and forth between present and past. And what's happening here? They just left it out. I thought because my original thought was when the episode started that, obviously they cut away from the whole Ellie leaving Joel. Seems like she's leaving him and going back to Tommy when she's reaching for the door. And I was like, okay, so this is where we're going to start the Riley and Ellie flashback. And then obviously there will be a point where we will cut back to Ellie already looking for medicine for Joel. Didn't happen. It didn't happen. And I was like, I was watching it and I kept expecting that this is where, no, that this is where, no. Okay, then that, and then by the end, I remember I looked at the watch and I was like, yeah, no, they're not gonna do any of that, any of that. And I was like, are you joking me? Are you serious right now? Like, I feel like the show is allergic to action. They just don't like it. It's like, okay, I guess, like, obviously it's beautiful. It's a beautiful story. We love it. But like, come on.
I have 2 theories as to why they didn't do it. But also I will say that I am mad that it didn't happen. I will preface by saying that I am upset that it didn't happen. But I have 2 theories. Well, I guess they're technically one. We'll just call it a theory. I know I say production a lot, but I think it has to do with strictly production and having 2 mall sequences back to back in the episode. I think it's a little too much for TV to be going back and forth between 2 full mall sequences, especially just cutting back and forth, whereas in it's the game, it's a little bit different. You can take your time, you can do all of these different things. There's different sequences, other things going on. I think they couldn't fit that into one episode because I don't remember how long the DLC is, but it's several hours. I think it's like 2 hours, maybe something like that.
I think it can get up to like 3-4 hours.
I think that they had to sacrifice doing Ellie trying to find the first aid kit in favor of Riley's backstory because that was more important to learn about Ellie than it was trying to get the first aid kit. However, the issue with that is, why is David going to get mad and want to kill Ellie in the next sequence? Because in this sequence, current time in the mall, she kills a bunch of David's men. And that's why David gets pissed and wants to hunt her down and kill her. And, some other things we'll learn later. But that's where the issue lies. What are they going to do with that now?
I don't agree.
I don't mind that you don't agree. I want to hear your side.
Because look, come on. 2 mall scenes back to back. Is there really that much into Riley and Ellie's story other than them running around in the mall? Wasn't the whole thing about the DLC that it literally balanced itself out
with flashbacks?
Yeah, with we have action in the mall because Ellie obviously has to face David's man while looking for their first aid kit. But then, she obviously has memories of the mall that she went through with Riley. Yeah. To be fair, and it's nothing against Riley and Ellie's story, there's not really that much in there to spend fucking 50 minutes on it and just on that. I think they could have easily sorted out to have as flashbacks.
I totally see your point though, because that's what triggers her memory of Riley is being in the mall.
Nick?
See, I'm gonna be Switzerland right now and be completely neutral and just go like right in the middle of your guys' arguments, because I haven't minded the whole series. I haven't really minded there not being that much action because I'm more interested in the human emotional kind of story of The Last of Us. So I haven't minded it, but it does every now and then I'm like, a little bit more action. This is the first episode that I was like, I just want to see some action. It's not necessary to the story of Ellie and Riley too much, but I just wanted to see something because there was totally a possibility to do some of the action scene where Ellie is killing a bunch of David's men. There was a possibility to do that. And one thing I felt is that in the episode, we had 1 infected. In the DLC, when Ellie and Riley get bit, they're chased by a couple of them. And like they're falling down these scaffoldings and things, like there's action there. This was like one infected jumps on them and it's over. So I feel like there wasn't enough action. But I would also say this though, to have Bella Ramsey's Ellie kill a bunch of David's guys in this episode, it would absolutely not work, because she's not shown any kind of capability to do that. Joel hasn't even killed that many people in the series. So if Ellie in this episode had killed a bunch of David's men, or had to do something like that, it would absolutely not have made any sense. So I didn't want to see anything like that. But it would have been nice to see her maybe jump on the horse and, you know, search around for a little bit, maybe have some stealth, kind of, you know, staying away from the men who have maybe tracked them or something. And in the mall scene with Riley, at least give us like one or two more infected that they have to run away from. Because it felt like the episode was nice and it was beautiful and blah, blah, blah. But like, it just, as I said, it was just stop, start. And then it built up to this moment that was gone in an instant. So it's the first time I'm really feeling like that there needs to be some more action, like just somewhere.
Yeah.
The whole game is full of it.
Yeah. I was having fun watching Lily's face the whole time, because she's like, yeah.
But they shot themselves in the leg with the whole, you know, Joel is old, so that's why he doesn't get that much action, and Ellie wouldn't do it because, you know, she's not there yet. And I'm like,
you know, could have made it be like that.
You know, you're making an adaptation out of a horror and action game.
But it needs to be more grounded.
Oh, I'm sorry. How stupid I am.
It needs to be more grounded and emotional.
Oh my
dramatic.
God. Look, again, I would like to say, I don't mind building character. I don't mind doing extra stuff. I don't mind any of that stuff. But why take out so many of the action? Why?
But not at the expense of the action.
I think that's really the point. Is it's like, we're not saying that it's bad. We're just saying, as fans of the game, we're saying, I mean, the action's amazing. It's one of our favorite parts of the game, and we're missing that at times.
We like this so much that we want more. We like this so much that we want more.
Maybe a grounded story works better for something that's already a bit grounded. Just putting it out there. Like, you know, sure, in some ways you can have it in there, but I feel like when you're making a movie series about infected people and the world being destroyed by this infection, you know,
you need some of the infection.
Yeah.
In their defense, that I know you're gonna hate me for saying this, it has been 20 years and a lot of infected have been killed. People have just gone off hunting them and tried to clear them out.
Like how they succeeded in Kansas.
Damn it.
See, I mean, that's like, it's kind of the point is, you can say, oh, there's less infected, or there's you know, maybe different areas where there's not as many infected. The thing is that the story is still avoiding them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So even if there's a massive population of infected, they're still avoiding them, and it's not to the show's detriment. It's to the adaptation's detriment. It's the lack of action is not anything against the show. It's just, the thing is that, like, I mean, you play The Last of Us, and any hour that you play, you'll probably see some action and some brutal, you know, violence. And we're not getting that in the show. Exactly. We're not getting that in the show. And I think it's that's the thing. It's really, that's why, like, I was thinking about this earlier, is how we were kind of talking about rating Bill and Frank's episode by giving it 2 ratings, a rating of saying it was one of the best hours of television we've seen in like the last 18 months.
Yeah.
But then also giving it a rating, I think I gave it like a 10 out of 10. And then saying, as an adaptation, though, I gave it like a 7.5 or something out of 10, because it changed so many things. We didn't get any of the action that we wanted. We didn't get any of Bill and Ellie's, you know, interactions. So in terms of adaptations, it's kind of it's leaving things out that I think, you know, fans, clearly Lily, wants to see.
But you know what 2 things we did get? We got the Dawn of the Wolf poster in the mall. We also got the flashlight not working.
Shaking
Which,
of the flashlight.
to be honest, I was salty about a couple episodes ago because I was like, why is his flashlight working? So, we did get those things.
Someone brought it up, but that, people like me who are like, we need a bit more action.
Mhm.
Just, it's literally.
PJ agrees with you.
Yeah, it's not that it needs to be just that. Because no one's saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that they are pushing it so much into the background and just literally just have tiny bits of snippets. And even those are reused things like how Joel killed one guy in the university and that's it. And then we were done with that. And now we have one infected and that's it. We are done with that. You're making a show about infected people, about people being horrible and going their own way and doing awful stuff. And it's not really there. Like they can just simply walk around. They can just simply go to one place to another. And as I said it earlier, it's taking the fear out of it. Like, to be honest with you, when the infected showed up, I was like, meh.
It was scary, but it wasn't like,
was it
Last of Us scary?
Was it scary? I didn't feel anything. I was like, oh, God, it's going to be one, isn't it? And yeah, it was one. And I was like, oh, for fuck's sake.
I had an epiphany that I think aligns perfectly with what you guys are feeling.
Yes.
Because of the lack of infected, how is that going to impact the end of the game? Because they don't currently, if you didn't play the game, do the infected seem like enough of a threat to make the ending feel hefty?
Yeah. That's the thing, because that's what I was going to say now. Is I feel like the lack of action and the lack of like brutal things that both Joel and Ellie need to do, it kind of cheapens their whole journey as well. Because I mean, there's a great line of dialogue that Ellie says in Salt Lake City.
After all we've been through, everything that I've done, it can't be for nothing.
Exactly.
It's a great line of dialogue, and that's like one of the iconic lines of dialogue, and it just feels like it's getting to a point. See, I haven't minded the lack of action and stuff until this episode, because it's starting to feel like now in season 9, when we have everything that finishes, it's going to feel like I haven't really gone through too much. I mean, like you fight hordes and hordes and hordes of infected and people, and then so far I think Joel's body count is probably still single digits, which is kind of disappointing if you think about it.
Yep. I think I'm going through the stages of grief right now. I think I'm going to need a minute.
Because, we love character building, but you can do it while you also have
threat of your life being taken from you.
It's The Walking Dead. We're there. We're already there. I told you at the very beginning, we're already there.
But at least we got one this episode.
Yay.
Yes.
One.
Little victories. Let's stick to them.
I was like, I was so excited when the camera panned out from them playing, and we went into that dark corridor, and then we went in, and then we saw this infected, and I was like, oh yeah, he looks cool. That's so cool. And you could see the vines and everything. And I literally was like, if it doesn't show up in the next 2 minutes, it's stupid. It didn't show up in the next 2 minutes. So what was he doing? Was he like, oh, I'm going to shake off the rust before I go chase these girls? Like,
technically, yes, he was stuck to the wall.
Oh, come on.
Takes a minute to,
but still.
To get up.
But
I thought because he was stuck to the wall as well, I thought he was going to do that like hive mind thing and like tell all the other infected where they are.
Yes.
So I was hoping that like the 2 of them were going to have to run, through the mall and like be chased by like a bunch of them. And that's a good point as well, is the hive mind thing. Erika, you said you forgot about it because they haven't mentioned stuff.
It disappeared since episode 2.
There's
It
literally
disappeared.
in episode 2. I mean, you could say it kind of maybe was in episode 6 when the bloater and all the infected appeared.
Yeah.
Was that really
But
the
or
hive
episode
mind? 5.
It could have been. It could have been. You could have said, "Oh, the hive mind let them know where to go or whatever," but they don't even mention it there. And that's the thing. There's little things that are like brought up and then just completely ignored going forward, like Sam's leukemia. Like
Yeah.
there was another thing as well, but like the hive mind stuff. Like it's just there's little things that are just I don't know. They're just annoyances. I think.
Stop changing my mind.
Sorry.
Sorry. It's not perfect, and it doesn't have to be perfect. And it could never be perfect, to be fair. Like, you know, it's simple as that, because you are trying to put I don't know, 22 hours of game into 9 episodes.
Yeah.
So, you know, obviously there would be things left out. There would be things that, you know, be in there and make us happy. But at the same time, I think, especially in this episode, they made the wrong call of how they did it.
When you talked about it panning over to the infected on the wall, I thought that's where they were going to transition to Ellie.
That's what I talk about.
Stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is a good well,
no.
Guess they aren't doing it.
Yeah.
At least our question will be answered as to why David's pissed. In next episode, at least we'll get an answer. But like, we can still be mad about it. Because
are we gonna get an answer?
I would hope so.
If they make it out that one guy, literally one guy that Joel killed is David's fucking brother, or I don't know, whatever he was to him, I'm gonna be so pissed. I'm gonna be like,
what if
shut up?
what if they even do it in a way that there's no reason David's pissed off with them and actually just sees Ellie as like a vulnerable person
and
that
just
she can abduct.
Kidnaps her. That would actually work really well, to be totally honest.
I think that would work better, because like we've already seen someone like lose a family member, and then they're like, oh, we need just that random guy in Kansas City.
Yeah,
we've already seen something like that, so to see it done again would be lame. I think to sort of see David maybe from afar, like looking and seeing Ellie and being like, oh, she looks tasty.
Oh, that was creepy.
And then going over.
Where would he
channeling
see her, though?
Well, she's hunting for the deer, but instead of a bow and arrow, because it was in the preview of the next episode. She doesn't have the bow and arrow. She's got the rifle now, and she's hunting for a deer in the snow.
Interesting.
Yeah, so we at least have that.
They're gonna fit all of that into one episode somehow.
We're not going to get the infected. I am telling you right now, we're not going to get the infected. I'm like, there's only 2 episodes left, and we saw we saw Punch in episode 5. We saw 3, 4 maybe in episode 2. We saw a few in the first episode. Where the fuck are they?
Weren't we supposed to get different new types of infected as well?
Looks like we won't.
I think I might actually go and listen to the podcast tomorrow with Craig and Troy. I think I'm going to go listen to it and see if they have any explanations to this, because obviously we're recording it right after, and their podcast is premiering right now. I think I haven't listened to it before, but I think this is intriguing enough that I may go listen to it tomorrow, see if they really talk about it.
Should we get back into the episode? I think we were supposed to be breaking down an episode today.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, there wasn't not much to talk about. Really?
There wasn't much else, really.
I do have to say, we did get a character that we have been looking forward to. The baseball bat. So we got the baseball bat that Riley was using to hit the infected with, the clicker with. We
I think that was a stalker.
However, yeah. Oh, you're right. It was a stalker. You're right. Hit the stalker with. And unfortunately, we did not get the brick this episode. So they did cut out that one part from the DLC where you throw bricks at the car.
We did get some cool things from the DLC, which I liked. I mean, there was the photo booth, the little photo booth scene, which I always thought was so cute in the DLC.
Yes.
It's like, I mean, there were some moments where they start showing the attraction between the two characters, and there's a moment in the DLC where they take those photos and they kind of sit back in the chair, and then they kind of like there's this awkward silence, and then they sort of look at each other, and it's like, like it's the first moment that you're like, ooh, are these two like into each other? And it's such a beautiful little moment, and I was really hoping we would at least get the photo booth scene, and we did.
We did.
In the games, it's more heavily implied that they are together because when Riley comes back into the room, she's like, we were good. We were better than good. You know, it felt more heavily implied in the games, whereas in the show, it's kind of like, are they? Are they? And it's like, oh, yes. It was so cute watching Ellie just like fix her hair in the little mirror, and like,
it was sweet. I really enjoyed that.
Sweet.
I was like, oh, Ellie.
Yeah. So cute.
It is, you know, as much as we might be bitching about the episode and talking about other things, it is actually a really sweet story.
Oh yeah.
I love the sort of backdrop of two young girls or two young people finding, you know, love and attraction with each other in an abandoned shopping mall amidst a like post-apocalyptic world. Like it's something so like beautiful about it poetically, and I love their story in general.
Yeah. I think the one thing I actually didn't like that they changed, which actually you guys are gonna have to remind me if this was how it is in the games. But did Riley agree in the games that she would stay?
Hey, what's wrong?
Don't go.
I think Ellie says don't go.
Yes.
And then I think they come to a sort of conclusion to say that they're just going to run away. So they're not going to go back to Fedra. They're not going to go to the Fireflies. The two of them are just going to go run away together.
Yeah. You might be right.
I do believe that's how it ends.
You might be right. Yeah.
Salty about one other thing.
Oh.
Because I was looking at the DLC to see if I could just like quickly find it in a video.
Yes.
First of all, Riley is wearing her clothes from the DLC, so
True.
that was completely accurate.
Yes.
But she doesn't have a Firefly tag.
Yeah, she didn't have one.
Wait, I will make you happy. Hold on.
Hear the jingles of it. Is it Riley's? What does it say on the other side? Flip it over. Triangle to flip.
It's The Last of Us. It's not Riley's, but you know, that's your collectible.
Okay,
that is super cool.
Okay, good.
All good now.
We're all good now. Yeah, we're all good.
Excellent.
I feel better.
Well done, Lily. It was beautifully done. Like, you know, if you want to see a scene from scene adaptation, this was basically it. I will still be salty. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't feel anything at the end. Like, I didn't even cry. And I'm a crier. I cry or everything.
Wept a couple of tears because it hurt. But also at the end of the DLC, we don't know exactly what happens to them after they get bit and they kind of just like cry it out. I thought we were actually gonna get that.
So did I.
I thought we were gonna find out what actually happened because everybody has their own interpretation. So I was thinking Neil would be like, all right, here's what I believe happened. But I guess he was more like, nah, I like leaving it open to interpretation, so we're gonna leave it here.
I don't know if I ever heard Neil say this or anyone say this, but I think it's so much better not knowing what happened, because obviously what happens in that situation is that Riley turns, Ellie doesn't. Ellie's got to deal with that situation. So does she kill Riley, or does she let her just, you know, lose her mind and become an infected? Either way, that's a devastating thing to do to someone that she loved. So in the world or the setup of the story, for it to end with her doing something like that just changes the narrative way too much.
Yeah.
So I thought we were gonna get like an outcome to that and see what happened, but I think it serves the story so much that we don't know and that it's left ambiguous.
I always thought that you know, it ends with, because she has to meet with Madeline somehow. So I always thought that it's probably, you know, the Fireflies come in to check what Riley's situation is in there. And then
think of that.
And that's how they find Ellie. And you know, it would it would make it clear for them that she's probably immune if they see her, and maybe she, I don't know. I always imagine that she closed the Riley in a room. because she didn't want to kill her, and that's how they find her. Like, she's clearly bitten, but she's fine.
Kind of
by
like in a
Riley.
That
mall
would work pretty
room.
well.
Yeah,
Yeah, with the
that's why I
gates.
always imagine it. Like, it leaves rent
like
free in my
that.
mind.
I like that.
I think that's pretty good.
That feels right.
Yeah, they had to
Yeah.
realize it somehow. Like,
Yeah, that's true. Because if they see somebody get bit, they're just gonna shoot them. Like,
Yeah.
no question. But if they see her with Riley, they're like,
oh shit.
wait a second.
Yeah.
I did feel like the
I think
episode did
it's-
end rather abruptly.
Abruptly.
It's a hard thing to talk.
It's
okay?
hard.
It
It
is
did feel
terrible.
like it ended really quickly, though. I don't know if
Yeah.
that was just me or I was just kind of like,
So did last week's. It was pretty
I
quick.
hated how she fucking goes through the house. She finds some stitches for Joel, and that's it.
yeah, I thought there was going to be at least she would go through a couple houses, like a little bit more like desperation, which we got desperation. I just was hoping they would kick it up to 10.
And then,
But-
and then the fact that, he still got somewhat impaled with that, broken bed. He would still need the medicine.
I don't think in the DLC that she was looking for medicine. I think she was straight up looking just for like a first aid kit to take care of the wound. And she makes a deal with David for the deer for antibiotics.
In the DLC, I think she's just looking for a trauma kit.
Yeah.
Just to like gauze and like stitches stuff. I
Oh,
don't even know what you call
Oh,
it.
you're correct. Yeah.
Hearing
Yeah.
them in so much pain was just like, I hated it. Hearing
When he like
just
grabbed her
Joel-
jacket and was like,
Oh,
I
I
was-
felt
oh.
that. Oh man, that was really sad.
Pedro can literally be lying on the floor and just grab a jacket, and we are just like, oh my god, he's amazing.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh my
He's
god!
oh my
God.
It's such a
That's
good
not
actor.
happening.
Oh my god. Oh, he was like my favorite one.
Oh my god!
Stop it, Pedro. You're gonna make me cry.
And I'm like, never cry.
And I like never cry.
But it's true. Like the way that they just emotionally did that was really impactful.
It was.
And it's the same thing. We like it so much, we want more.
All right, let's get into the episode ranking then.
There was just
yes.
was just the one thing I wanted to say about the ending.
Yes.
There is a great interview that Ashley Johnson, who plays Ellie in the game, she does this interview about The Last of Us DLC. It was like just after it came out. And so like a lot of people were talking about when it came out about Ellie's sexuality and how she's, she kisses Riley at the end. And I just thought like it's not really too relevant to the show or anything, but I just thought it's such a beautiful thing. And it can also be kind of discussed in the show as well, is that Ashley Johnson was asked, what do you think about Ellie? Like, is she lesbian? Like, what's kind of going on? And Ashley Johnson, which I think it encompasses The Last of Us so well, is she responded by saying, I don't think it matters. There was just the story of someone who loved another person, and it was like, it doesn't matter what your sexuality is. It was just two people being close. And I think that was such a great response to that. And I love that interpretation of the ending to the DLC, because it kind of speaks volumes to everything that The Last of Us is about. It could be in terms of love between two people. It could be brothers like Henry and Sam. It could be lovers like Ellie and Riley. It could be a paternal thing like Joel and Ellie, or Joel and Sarah. Brotherly like Joel and Tommy. So there's a lot of things like that, and I feel like the DLC perfectly encompasses it. And that, I think, is why like this episode was almost like a make or break.
Yeah.
And it's not too relevant to the show and everything, but it is such a beautiful way to interpret Ellie and Riley's relationship.
Yeah.
And if you can, if maybe I'll try and find the link to that episode. It was very long ago, but it's just such a beautiful response to Ellie's sexuality, I guess, which is further explored in the second game. But
yeah.
such a nice way to tie up what the ending means to the character and to Ashley Johnson as well.
Yeah, and for this episode, like this particular podcast episode, like I love that.
Yeah, we're gonna put it in the description. Let's get into episode ranking then.
Me.
Yes.
So I think I want to go. I'm having actually a really hard time figuring out how I want to rate this.
Okay.
So I'm gonna kind of just go with like a maybe like a 7.5, 8 out of 10, strictly because I think next week will influence my actual rating for this episode because of the situation and what they did leaving out David's men. Which I love what Nick said about that, where it was like, it feels a little weird right now to make her like a killer, a little more aggressive, which makes sense for the show itself. But in regards to how they did the DLC with Riley and Ellie, it was so beautiful and just so perfect that I fell in love with it. I thought it was beautiful. So I'm going to kind of go with like a 7.5, 8 out of 10, depending on the next episode and how it all ties in.
Okay. All right. Nick?
For me, I wanted to kind of use my same strategy I did with Bill and Frank's episode, where I give it a rating as just an episode and then one as like the video game adaptation. But I feel like that's kind of
that's why I didn't.
Being a bit of a coward. Yeah. So I'm gonna give it one rating, and I think today I'm gonna give this one a 7.5. Because it is, I mean, I did want to see a little bit more of, Ellie, searching for medicine and maybe avoiding David's men. She doesn't have to kill them, but just avoiding, maybe a little bit of like tension
Sneaking
building
around.
there in those moments. Exactly.
Yeah.
I wanted to see something like that. There's also a cool thing in the DLC where there's like a helicopter that crashes through the roof of one of the rooms that you go through. And like she searches for a trauma kit in there. I would have loved to have seen something like that. And then Riley and Ellie's story, as I said earlier, the real big problem I had with it was Riley kind of saying, "Oh, let's go here. Okay, let's stop now. Oh, let's go here. Let's stop now." I feel like it absolutely murdered the pacing of the episode, and it just made Riley annoying. Like, I did not like her at the beginning, and she grew on me, definitely. But that just she felt like such a. It was almost like she was so what's the word?
Condescending.
Condescending, thank you. She almost felt like a bit condescending with the way that she was like, "Oh, follow me. Oh no, stop now." And it just kind of annoyed me. It really did. So it kind of took away from it. But it is still a beautiful story between the two of them. That's
exactly what
can't
we
be taken
expected.
away. It's what we expected. And that ending scene, I think they executed nicely with them dancing and the kiss and everything. I think that was done nicely. So it did tie it up nicely towards the end.
I go with a 7 out of 10. Just like last time, this episode showed exactly why The Last of Us is incredibly hard to translate into a series, because we are at the point now that what we had panned out in 22 hours, meaning that we are losing Henry and Sam, we are losing Tess, we are losing Henry and Sam, we are losing Riley. Well, Riley was an addition at the end. But that panned out 22 hours. Now, all the trauma that the gamers had to live through in 22 hours are coming episode after episode. And it's I think it's also becoming a bit too much, to be fair. Like, every episode ends incredibly in an incredible sad way. But I think we're gonna go with Erika's idea, where we're gonna binge watch it and do an extra episode after we binge watched it to see what we think. Watching it all together, because I think it will make a difference.
I do too.
On the long run. So it's going to be interesting to see. So yeah, 7 out of 10, because of all the reasons I said previously. I don't know how to feel about what's to come, which is just 2 episodes left, so it's not much. Let's be fair. I think David's episode would need an hour and a half to work.
Is it about an hour? Is it listed at an hour?
I think it's like 58 minutes again. So I
Pretty
don't know. I don't know how they're gonna cram everything in there. I don't think they will. I think they're gonna leave out so many things.
You know what? They're gonna leave out things to give Troy more screen time. Because in the trailer, he was in half the trailer.
I have to watch that trailer. I haven't watched it yet.
Not that I'm mad. I love him as Joel, and I think it's great he's getting this like screen time. I just thought it was hilarious.
We had like a 10-minute scene of him just putting his saddle on a horse.
Oh my God, no. Nick, stop it. No.
We love you, Troy. We love you.
We're gonna see. We're gonna see what happens in the next episode. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
I think you know what you could actually even say is we've given our ratings. I think if you haven't played the game and you're just watching the series for the first time, this episode is probably a 9 out of 10 for you. But if you have played the game and there's obviously things you were expecting to see, it's a little bit different.
Let us know in the comments if you're only watching this and
give
never
us your
played the
ratings.
Game. Yeah, give us your ratings. I want to know how people who haven't played feel about this. But anyway, this was us. And before we go anywhere, Erika will do the promotion.
Hi. It's me again. Did you miss me? Probably not. It's okay. You are watching this currently on CouchSoup. If you happen to want to see our faces a little bit early, you definitely can over at couchsoup.com/membership, where there will be a lot of really cool up and coming things that are exclusive to members or will be coming out later for non-members. So we'd love to see you there in the community that we've built. It's a wonderful place. We'd love to have you there. And if not, my new thing now since Drew said he liked it.
And now it's with 2 fingers. Wait, I'm going to join in. Might as well.
Drew approved. Drew approved that. Drew.
Yeah, it's
send your letters to Drew.
If you have complaints, it's Drew. All right.
His email will be in the description.
Yeah, sure. All right. This was us. Thank you for joining us again. And we're gonna see you next time. Until then,
yes.
Endure and survive.
Endure and survive.
Endure and survive.